Hi, everyone. I want to leave you a quick message of encouragement. People have been frightened. Many in our nation have been frightened for a very long time. In fact, not just our nation, but around the world. First the coronavirus, and then the economy, now civil unrest, anxiety and fear and neurosis seems to be driving so many today. But no matter what we think about this, right, it has affected our church family. It has affected all church families all over this globe. But it has affected us in Pine Village. Watching a 20-minute clip online is now the equivalent of attending worship. And that changes how we think about it, changes how we interact with each other. It changes our expectations. Before all of these changes, so many considered a twice-a-month attendance really as an average or a regular attender. Recently, I read a poll done just this last month at a church in the Cincinnati area, and their result was that over 35% of their church family, it was in a semi-rural area, so 35% of their church family stated they would not be returning to worship until the fall. I'm not sure where you find yourself today. If you're still worried about returning to worship, if you're practicing this level of caution in your shopping and employment interactions. Here at church, at Pine Village Christian Church, we've been implementing just a host of new principles and procedures to keep everybody safe. We began to do those things long before it was required by any government agency. Regardless of that, things have now changed for most people. Maybe you've noticed the change. If social media represented the greatest communication shift in the past, at least the past 500 years, COVID isolation has now changed some aspects of worship permanently in our nation. It has definitely changed everybody's expectations. Some of you may have recognized that this shift has occurred, and some of you may not have recognized this shift has occurred. Culture has changed. In 2001, at a board meeting in August of 2001, I wrote these words with our leadership team that had assembled. This is a quote. I said that ministry must be done in the context of our current generation. That means we must minister to people in the present culture, the way we actually are, and not the way we used to be or the way we want others to be. So the culture has changed, and here we are. So a couple changes going forward. We'll continue to serve our community by offering church on 2 different campuses. One is here in person on Sunday mornings at 9:30. The second is online, and that will begin at 11 a.m. It's a different time, so please make note of that time change. If you're worshiping online, it's going to be at 11, because many of our church family communicate to me through messaging, text messaging, private messaging, email, and it would be a lot easier for me to interact with others after our first worship service. So we'll be worshiping twice on Sundays, 9:30 here on our Pine Village campus. There we go. And the second worship service will be 11 a.m. online. Galatians 6 and verse 9. The author writes, the Apostle Paul, who's the author, writes these words, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." And when it comes to ministering to you and our community, when it comes to considering all of the implications that we're considering with health and safety, let me tell you, Here at Pine Village, we're encouraged. We're not giving up. Okay.